Good morning, everybody. Welcome to everyone on Instagram and welcome to, it looks like I'm now live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. Yay. We are here this Monday morning for Rise and Shine. This is a weekly show where I come to you and just give you some motivation, inspiration, encouragement to take with you on your week ahead and your life ahead. And we talk about some, if you're having a bit of a difficult time at the moment, we talk through some topics that, might assist you in moving forward in a positive manner. So here's what we are doing in this show. So welcome. Lovely to have you with us this morning. So the topic that we're going to talk on today is about the importance of releasing our emotions. Wow. So this can be quite a big one, but we've got 30 or so minutes today. So I'm going to just talk with you through as much as I can this morning. So tell me, lovely ladies, is the phrase, you'll be okay, something that you have heard often in your life when you have gone to talk to someone about, stuff that's happening in your life, What about, that's right, just stay positive? What about that phrase? Is that something that you've heard? Or to put it in the Aussie slang, she'll be right, mate. It's an Aussie slang, oh my God. So that's one I've heard a lot. And honestly, all those different phrases is I can't tell you how often in my life things like that have been said to me over the years. And while these things are, all said with mostly the majority of the time, they're all said with real good intentions, it can often have completely the opposite effect of what is intended, right? And because what we do is when people say things to us like, I'll just stay positive, just be happy, she'll be right, mate. What we do is then, depending on the situation we're in, we can actually feel like we have to pretend to be happy, or we feel like that we have to literally pretend that she will be right, mate, that everything is okay, even when we're not happy and we might be in a space where we feel like we need a lot of help. You might be experiencing some really awful crap that's going on, and by people telling you, just stay positive all the time and she'll be right, mate, these things, again, unintentionally, they're not meant to do that. People say these things to us to help us feel better, but what they can do is it may cause us to suppress our true emotions around those situations, particularly if they're really awfully crappy situations, right? And if we are really going through that really rough time, it's almost like we feel forced to pretend that everything is hunky-dory, right? Rather than openly express the truth of the situation. Now, to give you an example, I'll go back to when I was at the end of my first marriage. And this was quite a, towards the end, it was quite a domestically violent and abusive relationship. And, I was very much in the stage of depression. I was suffering a lot of depression because of, for many different reasons, but obviously the abuse was part of it. And I was in the church at the time. Now, please understand when I tell you this story, I'm not having a go at the church. The people that I'm talking about, I truly believe everything they did was with good intention. But when I was with the few people that I chose to tell little tidbits of what was happening in my life, they would say things like, it'll all be okay, or God's got it in hand. Now, my beliefs, yes, I do believe that. But what this did for me at that time is because what I was experiencing was so significant, and I was hearing them tell me that everything would be okay. God's got it in hand. Don't worry about it. Was things like it was a phrase that I would hear. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I got to the stage where I felt like I had to show up to church and pretend to be happy. So what was happening was I was turning up and I was presenting myself as a very happy Ally, where the reality of the situation was that the happier I presented myself, the worse, the more I was actually suffering inside. So I wasn't allowing myself to work through those emotions. I was actually very much suppressing those emotions, and I wasn't, it was causing me, rather than helping me work through those emotions and through that depression, it was causing me more depression, more anxiety, And if you want to hear more about this story, actually, I have a book is now available for pre-release called From Fight to Freedom, and it's very much sharing the larger part of my story and how I have survived through several domestic violence relationships, workplace bullying and sexual harassment, and I've written it in collaboration with 10 other ladies. It's very exciting that it is now available for pre-release, and the link will be going up in the chat right now if you would like to get your copy, one of the first copies available for yourself now. That'd be awesome. So yeah, so me shutting down, very much shutting down and pretending to be happy on the outside was very much shutting down my emotions on the inside, and it was causing everything to compound. But I felt like, because of what people were saying to me, again with all good intentions, I was kind of just not allowing myself to work through what I needed to work through. And even to the point, and it's not only in public either, where I think that sometimes we because we're too scared to feel the emotions, sometimes they're so overwhelming that we're too scared to feel them. And this was something else I did when I went into single motherhood. After I came out of that marriage, I went to a point where I would avoid doing anything that would allow me to cry. I would not, if I would not watch a chick flick, mate, because chick flicks make me cry. And if I went to watch a chick flick, there was a danger that I was going to be a right ass mess. So I would rather avoid all the chick flicks. I would actively seek out drama movies, action movies, things with guns and blow ups and, stuff like that. Something that would take me away and out of those emotions. I would seek those out as well. So this was another way that I was suppressing my emotions, because I just didn't want to feel in that space of vulnerability. I was doing everything. I was actively doing anything to avoid feeling through those emotions. And the thing is too, ladies, is I'm sure that you will know, if you are someone who's gone through a lot of emotions like this, when we do suppress them, it not only affects us mentally up here, but it definitely affects us physically as well. So part of those physical symptoms are crying, all right? And if we are in the space, particularly feeling depressed or anxious, or you might be suffering depression or anxiety or other mental symptoms, and if you suffer from these, you'll understand, particularly if you suffer from diagnosed depression, diagnosed anxiety, you will know that there are physical symptoms that come with these mental illnesses, right? Things like loss of appetite or overeating, lack of sleep, or sleeping too much, heart palpitations, difficulty breathing, headaches, migraines, nausea. I could go on and on with all the different symptoms, physical symptoms that we can experience when we're going through these mental, and I don't like the word illnesses, you know, but they're diagnosed mental, well, illnesses that we go through, right? But it can, if we let these physical symptoms continue as well, they can actually lead to things like, hello, beautiful Nikki, a beautiful space lady. How are you? I can see you there on Instagram. They can actually lead to things like, if we allow them to continue, heart disease and things like diabetes. You know, I don't want to speak in too much to that because, you know, I haven't had that personal experience, and you know, thankfully. So I don't want to speak into that too much, but you know, it is really important that we do release our emotions so that our bodies can process and our minds can process the information as well, right? And then once we allow ourselves to process all this, this is when we can actually start to really, you know, honestly have and enjoy a happier, healthier life. This is why, you know, it's really imperative that we allow ourselves to not only enjoy the positive emotions, but feel through and release the negative emotions from our system as well. It's so damn important. You know, when I was recovering from my workplace, from leaving the workplace, my career, my 10-year career, after sexual harassment and workplace bullying, when I first left that job, I was absolutely in a place of numbness, absolutely numb. And I think I was in shock as well that all this had happened so fast. But when it wore off, when the numbness wore off, if you like, I definitely went through the stages of grief. Absolutely the stages of grief. I was in grief after losing this career. You know, I went through the shock, the depression, the bargaining, the anger, and I eventually I got to a stage of acceptance. But I had to, you know, allow myself to release those emotions, feel through them, release them, so that I could recover from, at that stage, I was diagnosed with PTSD from that situation alone. So I had to allow myself to go through and release that emotion from my body, you know, and yes, there are a lot of physical symptoms that came with all of that as well, you know. So even though now I'm not suffering, you know, I'm not suffering these heavy mental illnesses, you know, I'm no longer clinically depressed, yay. I'm no longer clinically anxious, suffering anxiety, yay. You know, I still, as I think we all do, we have moments in our lives when, you know, we still just need to move through the emotions. Things happen. Even if they're not, you know, fully major things, it doesn't have to be just the big things that I'm talking about. They can be, you know, smaller things where it is still important that we release through our emotions. And, you know, oh man, did I learn something last month, actually. I have very much in the last couple of, well, let's say couple of months, I have been really looking into moon rituals and learning all about how they work. So just gone, over the weekend, I did a new moon ritual. I've got to make sure I get around the right way. So I did a new moon ritual on the weekend. But a couple of weeks ago, for the first time ever, I did a full moon ritual. And this was all about releasing emotions and releasing stuff from your life that's no longer serving you, right? So I did this new moon ritual. And my God, was I really shocked with the, I was shocked with how it affected me the day after. I actually couldn't believe how much it affected me physically. I could definitely sense a release in emotions, but it really affected me physically and mentally. So I did it on the Monday night, and I went through the whole ritual, and I did, you know, I set my intentions about what I wanted to release and all of that. And the next day, that was on a Monday night, and the next day on a Tuesday, oh my God, my emotions were so heightened. I got angry over the littlest of things, like really angry. But it wasn't just, and that was clearly my emotions, that was one of the emotions that might have needed to be released. But it was also the physical stuff that happened to me as well. That was what shocked me the most, was that I, so I had a really bad headache that day, and for the next couple of days. I was very, very like overly tired. I was like exhausted tired. I actually started to get like symptoms of a head cold. So I was all clogged up, my runny nose, a study nose, real symptoms of a head cold that hung around again for a couple of days. But and I couldn't actually, I was really surprised about how much my body clearly needed to release this stuff that my intentions of the stuff that I was looking to release, how much it released it physically. So this new moon ritual really brought in for me the importance of, it was another way of reminding me the importance of releasing our emotions. And so, now in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be doing it again. So it'll be interesting to see in a couple of weeks' time how my body reacts this time. I'm curious. If anyone has done a new moon ritual or a full moon ritual, let me know what your experiences have been. I would love to know, because I'll be curious to see what happens this month, whether it's the same, or whether it's different, or whether, I don't know. I'll let you know. As I said, this is something new that I'm personally learning about and getting into. Oh, I'm just going to take a drink for a minute, ladies. So, opposite to this, right, is that something that I really believe we truly need to remember as well, is that when we begin to openly and honestly express our emotions, and yes, this is what we're here to do, is the importance of releasing your emotions, is when we begin to open up, it's important that we don't allow ourselves to open up so much that we're not actually releasing them, we're kind of staying there. Now let me explain this bit. So you might get to a point where releasing your emotions means that you are talking them out with other people. Great. That is a fantastic thing. Okay. Then that is certainly something that is important. But what I have seen happen with people time and time again is that we can start to express our emotions, but we talk around in circles with these emotions over and over and over again, right? And this is doing the opposite of what we're meant to be doing. So we're not releasing the emotions, we're actually staying in the emotions, and we inadvertently end up, and this sounds harsh, but we inadvertently end up living in a pity party. I know that sounds harsh, but I've been there, I've done it, and I've seen many people do it as well. So this is definitely a time when we need to make sure that we're talking through our emotions with the right people, so that we can release them, right? So we can talk through them, yes, and we can get them out of our system, yes, but we can release them so that once we've spoken about them, we're done type thing. I saw a counsellor again when I lost my career. I saw a counsellor and it was awesome. I went to see her. I had a mental health plan and I went to see her three times. And it got to the third time, the end of the third session that we were having, and she said to me, "Oh, do you want to book a session for next week?" And I actually stopped and I said, "Actually, I don't. I think I'm done." And she said, "Good, awesome, yes." She said, "Yes, you are done." She kind of agreed with me. But it was good because I got to the stage where I felt like if I continued to speak about what was and what had happened to me, I would be in that space of living in a pity party. And it would just be me just repeating myself and over again, and it wasn't going to get me any further. So I was thrilled when she said to me, yes, I agree with you, you know, I think you're done. And I felt like I'd had that release that I needed to have. So you want to find someone like that, you know, who is going to walk alongside you and encourage you to move through your emotions, you know, and help you to do exactly that, you know, to help you move through your emotions. Not someone who's going to kind of like feel sorry for you, you know, and you know, again, it's done with good intentions, but it unintentionally helps you stay in that negative space. So you don't, you know, we don't necessarily want or need people to feel sorry for us. We need these people who are going to walk alongside us, encourage us, and help us to move through these emotions. Can you see the difference? So just a little bit further to that, you know, there is the idea of, you know, and I talk about this a lot, is stepping into our future self. But to be able to do that and step in and move through the emotions and step into that future self, we have to release the emotions that we're currently experiencing. And this actually, you know, this is why I did this full moon ritual the other day. This is why I take my clients through the recovery process too, because, you know, we need to move through the emotions before we can get to the stage of stepping into our positive, our amazing future self. We need to move through the emotions. We need to release them. This is what we need to do. So with my course, the Phoenix Method, the first part of this course is absolutely working on, you know, the recovery, saying goodbye to your old self, working through those emotions, you know, and how you can bring yourself through them and not stay in them. And then the second half of the course is absolutely stepping into the future self. But it is imperative that we do the first before we can get to the second. Does that make sense? So, you know, if you're watching this, lovely lady, and you're in the need of support right now, I would love to offer you a free 30-minute confidence booster session. So jump on a call with me. They're live via Zoom, and, you know, they're absolutely free. And we can help you, you know, work out how you can work through the emotions that you need to release. So this will be going up in the comments as well. And yes, I would absolutely, you know, love to have the opportunity to talk with you on one of these free confidence booster sessions, my beautiful ladies. So, gorgeous women, it has been wonderful to come on and have a bit of a chat with you today. And I will see you again next week for Rise and Shine. And, you know, I just pray that, you know, if you are going through some emotions, that this will be able to, you know, be able to take this information and move through your week, through your life with a lot of positivity through the week to come. All right, my lovely ladies, I will see you next week, same time on Instagram. And also, if you are wanting, by the way, if you're watching on Instagram and you're wanting any of those links, so the links are going up in the chat on Facebook. On Insta, you will be able to find all those links in my bio. So you can just go to the bio and get the links from there. I always forget to mention Insta. Sorry, beautiful Instagram people. All right, my lovely ladies, have a fantastic week. And I will see you at 9 a.m. Adelaide time next Monday as well. Okay, bye-bye.